Yo, what is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome to episode 36 of our Tracksuit to the Top series here with Lewis FC in the Sky Bet League 1. Hopefully you guys are good. Yeah, today, double live com, a double trip to the East Midlands. We have two games. I promised Derby last episode, but we got drawn an even bigger game before that, so I thought, why not do a double header? So we're going to be doing the Leicester game, which, as you can see here, Leicester are a Premier League team. They actually finished 15th last year. Previously, they actually finished top half 2 years in a row, which is pretty impressive. So we're going to be taking on them away, and then we also have Derby County away a few days afterwards. So we're going to do both games. Since the last episode, just a handful of games to tell you guys about. First one was a 3-0 win against Pompey in the Capital One Cup. As you can see, we were a home team. It was a big game, and we dominated. We played really well. We got 2 goals early on, which really kind of settled us down nicely. Good to see Rolando Aarons getting on the score sheet again. 23-year-old here, he's had a great start to his time at the club. 3 goals and an assist in 4 league games so far, and of course he got a goal in the cup competition as well, so he's looking like a really good player for us. Alex Samuel as well getting a goal, and Pierce Sweeney getting a goal too. Anyway, the next result was actually Pompey again, this time in the league, and the result, while slightly different, the difference between their teams was equally as vast, as it was another game at home to them. And as you can see here, we got 4 goals, they got 1, couldn't keep our clean sheet record against Pompey going for a second game in a row. But nevertheless, a fantastic win. Cameron Stewart getting on the score sheet, which is good for him out wide, obviously, on the right-hand side. He's had a good start to the season. And then other players, Alex Samuel grabbing another 2. Alex, of course, the player who was a huge part of our campaign last year, and he's looking like an equally integral part of our campaign this year. 3 goals in 4 appearances in the league, another goal in the cup competitions too. He's just hit the ground running this year, which is really good to be able to say. And also Adam Armstrong getting a goal, of course, the player on loan from Newcastle. So good for him to get a goal. He's actually got 1 goal and 3 assists in 2 appearances. He's really performing well for us, which is really pleasing. Anyway, the next game was against Oxford. Unfortunately, this marked our first defeat in this division as we lost, having been 2-1 up with 10 minutes left, conceding 2 late goals. You can see here Celebos and Knight Percival getting the 2 goals for them with 5 minutes left of the game. It was really tough to take. I did cry a little bit inside as the second and then the third goal went in, because I felt a little bit unjust. Looking at the stats, it was a very close game. Perhaps we deserved a point, but ultimately we switched off near the end and it cost us. And then the last game was another 3-1 win, this time coming against Sheffield United. You can see, looking at this one, Aaron's getting the initial goal before Gnor, is it Gnor? Gnor sounds right, we'll go with it. Got 2 goals, which is really good for him. He's actually had a really good start as well. He's got 3 goals in 3 appearances, and 2 of those appearances have been off the bench. But yeah, he's looking like a very good player, and he's actually going to be starting today's game against Leicester, which is good for him. And yeah, that was another good result, because Sheffield Wednesday aren't a bad side. In fact, let's just check where they're predicted to finish. So Sheffield Wednesday, 3rd. And we beat them quite comprehensively, which is pleasing. And obviously we have Derby this episode. But before that Derby game, we have got the Leicester game. But before we do that, we've got to talk about some players who I was bringing in at the end of last episode, because some of you guys may remember there were a few Africans on my books, and I didn't mention in the commentary, but I did put a little text thing on screen for people actually watching the video. These players have been signed with the intention of selling them on for some money. They've all come in on freeze pretty much. First one here was Traore, or Torre even, not Traore. And he looks like an okay player. A very good fullback. We brought him in on a free. We'll almost certainly make our money back on him. He's 19 years old, and you can see here, he'd be a good player for Vanarama Conference sides. Not the best player that we bought in, but, we should make some money off him. Next one was Moussa Fall, Senegalese. This guy was a little bit disappointing, but again, we bring him in on a free. If we're able to sell him on at the end of this year or even in January, fantastic. If not, we'll get over it. I'm going to leave Sonogo for just a second because there were 2 others. Etodo here, he's actually naturally a centre-mid, but I'm training him to be a fullback. You can see he came in on a free, much like everyone else. He's on very low wages. He's a very good player, and we'll probably make some nice money off him. And then Bakary Sanya, probably the worst player that we bought in, but with these players it was always a risk because they were unscouted. However, there was one player who was a risk, and the risk certainly paid off, and that was Eric Sonogo. Can we talk about this guy for a second? He joined us for 400k, and the reason I was willing to pay that much money for him was because he was playing for the Ivory Coast first team and he wanted to talk to me. As you can see, incredible player. Looking at him, an incredible centre mid, can play out wide. Look at his hair, look at his beard, he's loving it. And he came in for a really good price, and he is the best player in our team. And look at this, Premier League quality. Professional. What more could you want? Well, I'll tell you what more you could want. You could want a bloody work permit, because he didn't get one. So we have this incredible player. He isn't on massive wages, and we'll probably be able to sell him on for a ridiculous profit, I hope, if he isn't going to get a work permit. But he's just sat in the club at the moment, which is kind of a bit crap. Unfortunately, if I just show you, we can't apply for a work permit for another 111 days either. So we've got 4 months to try and get him one. But what a player. What a player for 400k. And this just proves that you can get some absolute bargains from Africa. And as I mentioned, these players are coming in largely to sell on. Sonogo would be a player who I'd like to get permanently, but the work permit could prove an issue, and we're looking like we're going to have to sell him. There are a few other players coming in, but I can't really review them until they join, and they're not joining until January. So I guess we'll hold out on those two. But 2 players who have both broken into the first teams of the nations they represent, which is pretty decent. So anyway, let's talk about our season so far. So you've seen the results. It actually sees us lying in 4th in the table with 3 wins and 1 defeat. Barnsley and Peterborough are the only 2 teams unbeaten still this year. As you can see, Derby, who we've got coming up, not had the best start, so they'll be looking for a win against us. And if we look at our individual players, just looking at the average ratings, you can see where the players have kind of excelled, and it's been in the final third. Worth noting, I guess, Pierce Sweeney's had a really good start as a centre-back. He's got 2 goals, which isn't too shabby. And Judgen, I can't say this guy's name for the life of me, but Judgen, the Irish international, you can see here, he's made a pretty good start at left-back, which is good. So that's our team. I already talked a bit about the goal scorers, but it is Rolando Aarons and Samuel leading the way. Been supported by a few other players, which is good. And on the assists front, Adam Armstrong obviously got off to a flyer. He's not played too many games for us, but he is going to start today. Other players have done well. Stewart, obviously, with the assists. Brandon Barker's done well as well. A player who wanted to leave the club, and I have offered out a few times, but just not got a bid, I guess, within the region I wanted for him. But he's a very good player, and in the cup, in the previous leg against Pompey, he did get 2 assists. But anyway, let's get into today's games, because there are 2. So we're going to start with this game against Leicester. Mark Clattenburg, the referee today. We're away from home against Premier League oppositions. We're just going to stick with our system. Just going to stick with it, roll with it. If we get something from this, fantastic. If we don't, I might look to sub off a few players who debatably I should be saving now and kind of playing a weakened team for this game, so they're fit for the more important game coming up. But I wanted to play them, so they are in the squad. Obviously, because FM isn't very clever, it's asking me why I've left out Sonogo. But he hasn't got a work permit, so it's a bit of a silly question. So they're missing Remy, so that's a boost. That's a boost. They don't have Remy. Who is in their side? So they've got Aspas, Naismith. Well, that's a terrifying Merseyside front 2. They've got Knockhart still in their side. Is that Jeff Hendrick? I think he starts at Derby unless they signed him recently. Yeah, he does start at Derby. Look at that knowledge. But yeah, they look like they've got some okay players. This certainly isn't going to be easy, but we'll see what we can do. So I expect you guys to win. I shouldn't have said that. I'm just going to tell them I have faith in them. I don't know why I told them I expect them to win. It's because I've just gotten this habit in the league matches of expecting everything from the team, the world from the team, and they've delivered for the most part so far this year. The defeat against Oxford perhaps a little bit disheartening because of how we lost. But with the exception of that, we've looked very good so far this year, and I'm hoping we can maintain that going into this game here. So we'll see how we get on. They're on the attack. Knockout. Oh god, they're peppering our goal already. 2 clear-cut chances in the 11th minute, but we've rode the storm and we're still in it. And as long as there isn't 4 goals between us, we have a chance. When it reaches 4-0, if it reaches 4-0, I should be more optimistic than that. Then it's over. Until then, I will remain forever the optimist. But looking at it, half an hour in, not a lot happening, but I don't mind it being a boring game. A boring game means that we've not conceded and that we're on our way to a replay at home. Looking at it, our keeper's just taken a knock. Now that's not on. Hopefully that isn't an issue, because I'm not sure I've got a goalkeeper on the bench. In fact, I'm pretty sure I don't, so we're going to have to hope we get lucky. But anyway, let's just tell the players, I'm pleased with how things are going, keep it up. It's 0-0 at half-time. There's not been anything happen whatsoever. It's a good job we're doing 2 games today, or you guys would feel really short-changed at the moment. But yeah, I kind of felt like doing this game. I'm not expecting to win the Capital One Cup, but it was an opportunity to do a big common. We've got a chance. We've got a chance. Knorr with the goal. That's his 4th of the year from centre mid. He is loving it. What goal scoring form he is in. Lewis FC maybe, just maybe on their way to a Capital One Cup shot in the 2nd round. What a result this could be. Rolando Aarons with the initial ball in. I think it's Armstrong with the near post header. A big kind of mess in the box, and Knorr just mops up that mess and says thank you very much, ploughs it home. And I want to say we've deserved that just because we've actually attacked them today. It would have been very easy to go defensive turtle, play for the draw, maybe play to hit them on the break. No, sticking with our 4-4-2 Mike Bassett style, and right now we're loving it. 25 minutes left. I'm going to make some changes. As I mentioned, fitness is a little bit of an issue in our side, so we are going to make some changes accordingly. We're going to bring on Liam Walsh to play slightly more defensive. I think the other such change I'm going to make is I'm actually going to take off Adam Armstrong for Jerome Sinclair. Jerome Sinclair is one of the best players in the team ability-wise. He hasn't had the best start to his time at the club. Obviously, we've been kind of blessed in this save throughout all the seasons in terms of having strikers who can really hit the ground running. I was hoping that Sinclair was going to follow that trend, and based off his first 4 games, he's not had the best running, but there are games to come big, and this is one of those games, and it is one of those games because he's just scored his first goal for the club when it really matters to make it 2-0. Walsh, the sub as well, with the little cheeky ball through. Sinclair with the cheeky nod onto himself, and bang, keeper Kasper Schmeichel caught in all sorts of bother in no man's land, and we make it 2-0, boys. I really want to just go contain now, but I feel like the best form of defence is just to attack them, so that's what we're going to do. I may regret it now that we really look like we're about to concede, but they can't hit the target. Tanner, you are garbage, son. Walsh, come on. Sweeney, it's in, it's offside. It's offside, don't celebrate. Put your hands down, boys, if you had them up in the air celebrating that goal. It's not happening. It is not happening. Well, at least we're looking on course for a win. I've jinxed it. I've jinxed it. We're going to concede 2. We're going to... Don't concede, boys. Defend. Defend. Don't give away a penalty. That'll do. That'll do. Great save by Mullen. Mullen's had a pretty good game. They've not tested him too often, but he's on course for a clean sheet. What more could you want? Right, time-wasting sub. Let's make it happen. Stuart, come off for Kenji. Tactical sub, please, ref. Just kill some time on the clock. Time is slipping away. We are about to achieve an incredible shot. Perhaps the biggest result so far of this save. It doesn't feel like that because this game's been us against the back, with our backs against the wall, having 2 goals disallowed, but really not performing great, and them having a lot of chances but not taking them. But I don't care. 2-0. What a shock that is for Lewis. It's not lose. Well, I've had this debate actually. Some people seem to think it's Lewis. Some people seem to think it's lose. I went on a Sussex YouTube channel that covers their videos, and they refer to them as Lewis. And I'm going to trust that Sussex YouTube channel. So if you're from Lewes or Lewis, I'm sorry I've been saying it wrong all this time, but it's not changing. I trusted the media who cover their matches on YouTube to say their name correctly. Who knows? Anyway, we won. We won, and that's a great win at the King Power Stadium. Well, okay, the Denmark head coach was coming to look at Kasper Schmeichel. He's not going to want him in his side now, is he, after that? After he's just seen them humiliated. But what a win that is. And Sweeney getting the Man of the Match award at the back. 100% tackling. What a man. What a man. Our captain. Is he still our captain? I'm not even sure. Let's just check. I don't want to give false facts, but I think he is. He is. Our captain leading by example that game. He loved it. He loved it. So what a result that is. We've actually got the end of the transfer window coming up, so I'm probably going to skip to the Derby game just because the game can get a little bit slow around transfer deadline day. I think I just burped and yawned at the same time whilst talking. That was weird. Anyway, I'll be back for the Derby County game in just a second, guys. Okay guys, so we're back. It is Derby day, as in we've not got a derby, we're playing Derby. Just a quick look at the board confidence. They love me, they love the wage handling, they love the club stature. They're okay with the competitions, but it's early doors yet, and the club is very happy. Look at the finances, you can see we made loads of money through sales. But anyway, let's get into the Derby game. As you can see here, they are on 7 points. They could go ahead of us if they win, but we're not even thinking about that just yet. Looking at the squad, a few players struggling for fitness, so we're going to make some changes accordingly. It's a bit of a shame, but it's just, I guess, a side effect of the intense schedule we've had so far. So we'll go with this side, I think. In fact, I'm going to give Jerome Sinclair the start. Obviously, he got the goal last game that mattered. Let's see if he can pick up from where he left off and hopefully get his first league goal for the club. Anyway, looking at Derby here, they've actually kept a few players from when they were in the Championship right at the start of the game, which is surprising. I believe Keogh's a player who starts there, Bryson does, Martin does, and obviously Mason Bennett does too, so that's not bad. Let's tell our players I expect to win from you guys today. I think there's a load to come from you. They're loving it. They are loving it. Right. Boom. Let's see how we get on then, guys. So, Derby, we're on the back of a... Is that right? We're on the back of a big win? We're off the back of a big win? I don't know. We're not on a back at all, technically. But, yeah, we won against Leicester, obviously. The biggest game of our... Probably of our kind of save so far, I guess, to win against Premier League opposition. Obviously, we did play Hull many, many moons ago, but that's the biggest win, certainly, if not the biggest game. But anyway, let's see how we get on here. Obviously, Derby, a big team, a team who will be looking to bounce straight back, having been relegated to this division, and we are going to try and stand in their way as we are sticking with the 4-4-2. Judgen, Samuel's through. No, he's not. No, he's not. That was a very ambitious ball to get to him, and it hasn't made its way to him. Curiously, I've actually... Oh, Sinclair, please. Please. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Take a bow. Jerome Sinclair. That's why I'm putting some faith in him. I mentioned he hasn't really hit the ground running, but he's got a few games now. You know, 2 goals in 2 games. Plenty of time left in this one as well to grab some more. But a nice finish too, taking it around the keeper. What I was trying to say... Before, oh, okay, we have a knock. We have a knock. Let's just, we're not even taking chances there. Let's just get that changed immediately. I can't remember what I was saying. I feel like it was a really intelligent point, but I can't remember what it was. Answers on a postcard. I've forgotten. But regardless, this is a good start, obviously. A good win at the moment against Derby. Looking at the stats, possession's been 50-50, but we are doing very well. I feel as if the players that we've added have really contributed, and that's been a kind of continuing trend throughout this save. Is our signings have always added something for the most part, particularly the big ones. You look at early doors, obviously players like Matthew Lewis and Ben Bacon came in, they had an impact. And so did Joe Robinson, you know, in those early years. We then progressed into the conference eventually, and then you saw players like Hesketh and Barnes have an impact. Last year we saw Samuels make an impact, we saw Stewart make an impact, and this year, well, Ojo's just got a goal, Jerome Sinclair has got a few goals. It's looking like a really common trend in terms of the players we've invested in, and Rolando Aaron's probably the top performer of the lot. Certainly the players that we brought in have always performed for us. We've spent smartly, and we've not spent loads of money. And the squad that I actually have now is incredibly young. I only really realised this a few games ago when I was just looking through my squad. I don't think there's a player over the age of maybe 30 in the entire club. We'll have to check that after this game. But certainly the majority of our team, because it's built up of Premier League rejects, players who weren't given a chance to perform at big clubs but have some potential. It's just got a really low overall age. But anyway, let's see what we can do here. We've given away a penalty is what we've done. Cameron Stewart, you Wazzock, giving them away back into the game. He walks to the corner with shame. Craig Mullen, can you do something for us in goal? I'm not expecting you to, but if you can, you'd be the biggest babe ever. You're not a babe. Chris Martin with the goal. And 2-1 isn't quite as comfortable as 2-0, unfortunately, and especially coming right off the back of half-time. Hopefully that doesn't galvanise Derby and really give them some momentum going into the second half. Now the crowd's back on their side. They've had a half-time 15 minutes of sulking and venting. They've seen a goal scored, and now they've hit the woodwork. They are knocking at the door. 2 set pieces, however, so I'm not too concerned, but obviously we're giving them the chances to get back into this game in giving away the set pieces. But we'll stick with what we're doing right now because it served us well in the first half, particularly in open play. Although they're on the attack here. Mason Bennett bangs it in. Mullen perhaps should have done better there, but the momentum is with Derby all of a sudden. The momentum is with Derby. Let's pause the game. Let's do a team talk. Aggressive. Show some passion. No, demand more. I wanna see more from you boys. Some of them look motivated, which is good. You know, let's make something happen here. Or we could just concede again. Good defending though. I think it was Sweeney there with the tackle. That's big. That's big. Right, who's not performing right now? Unfortunately, we already used one of our subs, so I don't want to make too many changes too prematurely. I think I might change up Lewis Thompson. In fact, Cameron Stewart, you've had a bad game. You gave away the penalty. Let's bring on Kenji. Kenji, get on the pitch. A player who was a big signing last year for us, really. He kind of went about his business without being massively kind of, what's the word, praised by me, but he did a job for us last year. He got, you know, double figures in both goals and assists, so we're going to stick him out on the right hand side in his natural position and see what he can do for us. We're on the attack here. Sinclair, Samuel's ahead. Samuel is ahead. Ball tries to make its way back across. It breaks to Jerome Sinclair. He's making a name for himself now, and Kenji with the assist. Thank you, my son. Genius from WorkTheSpace. Look at all the away fans with all. How many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 of us going to Pride Park. That's what football's about. But that's a good play. And as I said, Jerome Sinclair not hit the ground running, but we gave him a chance last game, and he's building up some form. And I feel like he's going to be a confidence player as we have another chance. Kenji, back post, Aaron's back post. Well, they like crossing our players, and that's a lovely play between the right and left mid. It's a bit special, that goal with the cross back and forth. The centre-backs don't know which way to look. As Aaron's intelligent ball and Kenji on the volley. Pow! Keeper not stopping that. And we go 4-2 up, and that's now comfortable again. I feel like momentum is back in our favour. We're on the attack again. We want blood. We want blood. Where are you going, Jerome? That's incredible to run with the ball like that and to miss it that convincingly. Right, 10 minutes left. It's looking like we're on the back of 2 fantastic wins against 2 of the big guns in this league, and this gives me faith that we can get promoted this year. Can we make it 5? Oh, Kenji with another chance. He's already got an assist and a goal off the bench, and that was a chance to double his goal tally for the year. He has fluffed his lines a little bit there, but you know what? I'm not even mad. Let's just bring off Shei Ojo. He's struggling a little bit. He's had a good game. Let's bring on Knorr. Just get some fresh legs in midfield for 2 minutes and to waste that little bit of time. And that should be game, set and match, boys and girls. That is a 4-2 win. 2 fantastic wins this episode. And that's away. That's away against Derby. The only game that could be harder than that is Watford, in my opinion. If we look, Derby, relegated last year, finished 22nd. Obviously at the top of the table there's some big teams. Watford were the favourites to get promoted. They've actually been stuck in this division for 1 year now, and they've not obviously got out of the league last year. So maybe we're on our way up. What a start it is though, because we've certainly not played the easy teams, I guess. I'm sure teams like Watford and Derby will be picking things up sooner rather than later. They've probably had a few squad changes, but anyway, still a fantastic win. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this episode. Jerome Sinclair, thank you very much for improving, I guess. But anyway, yeah, that wraps things up from me. I'm rambling a lot today, but hopefully you enjoyed this double header. Some good performances by some big players, and I think that win against Leicester has to go down as our biggest win so far. But anyway, I will see you guys again in the next episode. I don't know when it's going to be. It might be the Watford game, although that's a little bit soon and they're not that high in the league. I'm kind of just going to go with the flow and we'll see how we get on. I might do the Blackburn game. I might not actually because they're in the Championship. We'll see. We'll see. You guys will have to tune in next time to find out how we're getting on and who we're playing. But hopefully you will come back, and I will see you guys when you are back. So that wraps things up from me. Thank you so much for watching as always, guys. If you have enjoyed, smash the like button, and I will talk to you guys in a bit. It's me, Jack, and I'm out.